Hi everyone, this is Sai of Sai's Sphere.
Welcome to another episode of Sai's Kitchen.
Finally, after a long break, we are back.
For today, we are going to make another easy to prepare recipe, the burger steak in mushroom gravy sauce. Let's get started.
Good food that uplifts your mood never tastes so good. Cook with us at Sai's Kitchen.
Burger steak is a go-to meal at home because it is something that I get to prepare in less than an hour. For our ingredients for the burger steak, we need ground beef, garlic, onion, some eggs to bind it, and breadcrumbs and evaporated milk. And for our sauce, of course, we need shiitake mushroom, chicken stock, flour, and salt and pepper to taste. First, we need to mix our meat. I always start with seasoning it with salt and pepper. So it's just really up to you. I'm using black pepper, by the way. As most of you know, we have been on long hiatus. We were gone for a year, but rest assured I was continuously in my kitchen, just was not camera ready. So I am mixing the meat. I have seasoned it with salt and black pepper. And now we're going to add the egg. The egg will act as a binder. We make sure that the meat gets well mixed with the egg. This will ensure that our burger steak will stick together when we fry them later. And now we are going to add the garlic and the onion. And then we add the breadcrumbs to our meat mixture. Another tip is you are able to mix the meat with the other ingredients so well if you are using your hand. Most of the time, if not all the time, I use my bare hands to mix since I am only cooking at home. Of course, make sure you wash your hands. They're clean. And finally, we add a little bit of evaporated milk. Now that we have mixed our meat thoroughly, we're gonna set this aside for a few minutes. And now it's time for us to make our burger steak. So just get a little portion, just up to you, whatever is your preference. And I'm gonna be using my hand. And you flatten them so they're gonna make a small circles. Now it's really up to you if you wanna make it very thin or flat. I like my beef burger to be a little bit plump, so they are not, if you notice, they are not completely thin. This is the favorite of my son, so I'm making us lunch today. This is also a very nice recipe if you are running out of time or busy. For those who prefer Angus beef, and if you have some meat grinder at home, you can go ahead and buy Angus beef and do the grinding yourself or request the meat shop to grind it for you. And it's time to fry our burger steak. So while I wait the pan to be heated, let me just slice our shiitake mushroom. Let's take a pause. I think it's now time to add our cooking oil. You may notice I'm using olive oil for cooking, and yeah, I'm using olive oil. You don't have to use olive oil since you are cooking burger steak anyway. I just happen not to have any cooking oil at home. It's all olive oil I have left. Now, in case you can't find shiitake mushroom, you can, I think it's okay, you can just use any mushroom you have available. I'm not really into specifications of proportions, especially for the salt and pepper, because it's for your preference. But for the full ingredients, you can check in the description below. We are going to add it there, but it's just really up to you. By the way, for the mushroom gravy sauce, we are using chicken broth instead of beef broth because I find it more tasty. And I promise in the next few weeks I will share with you my recipe on how to make homemade or how to do homemade chicken broth. And now it's time to fry our burger steak. Make sure that they are in a very high temperature because one goal here is to brown our burger steak. So we pressed it a bit, try to flatten them. Because you notice that as they are frying, they get to... So what I usually do is I try to press them against the pan. It's time to turn our burger steak. So we turn it and make sure it is also brown on the other side. And I think our burger steak are ready. And now that we are done frying our burger steak, it's time to do our mushroom gravy sauce. Using the same pan, we're gonna add our butter. So just be mindful if you are using salted butter, then that means you won't be adding more salt. So we are going to melt our butter. I'm using the same pan to allow the taste of the burger steak to stay and get mixed with our sauce. We melt our butter and very gently we are going to add our flour. Make sure you mix them well and make sure your pan is over low fire. And just continue stirring or mixing them until they become a little bit brown. Then we are going to add our shiitake mushroom. Next is we add our chicken broth. So gently, we are going to mix the chicken broth with our mixture in the pan. We add a little bit of salt and pepper to taste. And we also add a little bit of oyster sauce. And we just wait for it to simmer.
Now this sauce is about done. All I need to do is just add to it the burger steak that we fried earlier. But if you opt to have it or to want it to be more creamy, you can go ahead and add some cooking cream.
Now we are going to add to our sauce the burger steak. So this is the part that I said earlier, you don't have to
Cook so well the
burger steak. You can just brown them on each side because we are going to cook them with the sauce anyway. But again, if you want to separate, like me, sometimes I want them separated from the sauce, then you have to fry them and make sure that your burger steak is well done.
So we'll let it simmer for a few minutes or until the sauce reduced a little bit. And then our burger steak and mushroom gravy sauce will be ready.
Yay, we made a post after a year. And to our friends who had been messaging us, here goes easy to prepare recipe. And now, your burger steak and mushroom gravy sauce is ready. See you in our next episode.